there'll be lots of tinsel about, so let's do some sparkly drinks. And we're going to do a mimosa, or our take on a mimosa anyway. So it's a twist on a Bucks Fizz, of course. Bucks Fizz, originally from the Bucks Club in London, invented by Mr. McGarry in the early 1900s. The mimosa is just a slightly more complex version of that. So instead of being your kind of your classic Christmas morning, I don't know if you do this, but we do it in our house. Christmas morning, it's like, oh, even people who don't have a drink all year long will have a glass of champagne with a bit of orange juice splashed in it, because you know it's Christmas morning. So we've kind of played on that with the mimosa and gone, well, why don't we just stick another dimension in that? So we've added in Grand Marnier. So obviously, Grand Marnier being a cognac-based liqueur, you get all the depth, you get all the nuances of the wood kind of aging in there as well as the bitterness of the bitter orange peel that they're using it. So that comes through with the fresh orange juice as well as the Prosecco, and you get quite an interesting field of flavour, more depth to it, rather than just your classic kind of sparkles with orange in it. So that's what we're going to do. Very simple. We're just going to grab ourselves a flute. Nice clean polished one. There we go. Chill this down a touch. People often say, can I have less ice in my champagne? It's just to chill the glass. So that's always an awkward moment when you go, yes, of course you can, yes. And then you empty out and pour the drink in and they're like, oh yeah, now I knew you were going to do that, honest. So we're going to chill our glass and then we're going to just add the other ingredients in. While we're doing that, we're going to create the garnish, which in true Blue Peter style, not that I've ever actually presented Blue Peter, it's still on my to-do list. We're going to put a little sparkly creation on the side there, very Christmassy-esque. It looks a bit like the star that wise men would follow. Edinburgh obviously is a class above Hull. It's where I'm from. We always have a problem putting on the nativity play because we can't find three wise men. But anyway, what we're going to do is simply take a piece of orange peel like this, take the pith off the back, which I'll do on a flat surface so I don't risk taking my fingers off, and then we're just going to cut this in, so make it nice and straight, and then all we need to do is cut that out to a point on one side, and then do it on the other as well, like that, and then we're going to put one down the middle, because that's going to help it go on the glass when we twist it out. Okay, so we'll twist it like that and it'll just go on the rim. Lovely. Cool. Right. So once that's cold, we're going to put in 15 mils. So I'm going to hand you a little measure. I tend to measure most of my drinks out because although I can free pour pretty accurately, having done this for 20 years, yeah, I know, I can't believe it either. And they're still paying me to be here. It's incredible, really. When you're dealing with a drink that's got, well, with all cocktails really, in terms of looking at the balance, if you've got something that's in a small glass, martini glasses, champagne flutes, etc., it's very important that you get the balance of the ingredients right. So even if you're going to make this in a batch or you're going to make it for a group of people, you would always multiply the recipe out by ratio rather than going, oh, I'll just put a bit more in that, it'll be alright. Which is why if you ever get a bright red Cosmopolitan, if you go in a bar, get a nice red Cosmopolitan, you probably want to order something else, because that's just a glass of cranberry juice. Because obviously a Cosmopolitan should be a pink drink, because if you think about how small the glass is, once you've got the booze in there, you should only be able to get a small amount of cranberry in it. When you shake it, it's going to be a pink colour. If it's bright red, they fill the glass with cranberry and there ain't a lot of booze in it, and that's what you're paying for. Okay? So we want to make sure that everybody's getting what they pay for. Good value for money. And so we're going to put in fresh orange juice. Like that. Steady hands. Good job I didn't try it with that one. Used that one before. Once, twice over the years. Thank you very much. Prosecco. Obviously it used to be years ago, people used to look at Prosecco as being, well, it's not champagne, is it? Whereas now, quite frankly, it's getting the recognition that it should get. It's obviously an Appellation contrôlée in its own right. It is an area of production much like champagne. And there are some phenomenal Proseccos being made now. Some of them you can open. This one very clearly doesn't want to. But I'll do it the old way. Just rip the side off. There we go. yeah, some of them have some really good openers, you know, others don't open quite so well. But yeah, now people are recognising that Prosecco by itself and other sparkling wines, or British sparkling wine as well, is now being recognised as being high quality and often does very well in blind tastings. There is life after France and Champagne, I'm glad to say. But particularly for cocktails, it works very well because Prosecco usually has it's kind of an apple and pear kind of flavour to it. So you're getting, again, an extra layer of flavour through some very simple ingredients. So whilst with a lot of classic cocktails, less is most definitely more. So there's only 3 ingredients. You want something that's going to give you more flavours than that. A cocktail should always be more than the sum of its parts, I think, and this is a really good example. Things like a dry martini is always a great example. You get the balance between the herbaceousness of the dry vermouth and the botanicals in the gin, and that's really the magic of the martini, the way those flavours play against each other. And with this, because you've got the Grand Marnier in there with a bitter orange peel, you've got the cognac base, so you've got those woody notes in the background, and you've also got the kind of apples and pears from the Prosecco, and you get more of a complicated flavour than you would do from, say, just having an orange and sparkling drink. There we go. That's our Mimosa. If you wish to try, please be my guest, and then somebody will be my guest in a second and come and make one absolutely identical. If you wish to taste it, just grab yourself a straw,